Hi, Dmitry is here, and welcome to the next video on my channel. Today we will take a look at the Harman EZ-35 reusable camera. It's a camera for 35mm film. It comes in box like that. So we have some instructions here, and we have a list of what should be in box. Let's open it and see what do we have inside. So we have the camera itself. Looks pretty nice, but it's plastic, obviously. We have an Ilford HP5 Plus 400 ISO film, black and white one canister of 35mm film, and one battery for the camera. Let's take a look at the camera itself. So it seems like this one is a normal reloadable disposable camera, as simple as possible, but this model has a motor winding. It's motorized, so we don't have a film rolling handle here. We have only a switch for that. And we have a battery compartment, so let's install the battery and take a look how this will work. So we have no DX contacts inside, and actually we have no controls here. So this camera has a fixed aperture, it has fixed exposure time. So because of that, there is no sense to put DX contacts here, just because there is nothing to control inside the camera according to the DX code of the film. So what makes this camera a bit special is motor, because right now cameras like that, disposable reloadable cameras, they have only manual winding and manual rewinding after you finish the roll. But here we have a motor, and this is not old model, it's a new one. So it's quite interesting. It's quite interesting that we have cameras like this today. It's kind of renaissance of film photography, but you should not forget that this camera comes from the class of disposable reloadable. Why I keep saying disposable? Just because it's fully plastic and it has really simple plastic optics and simple specs. No control of aperture, no control of shutter time. Nothing like that. Let's try to shoot something. We have a button here. I guess this button is depressed when we load the film. Let's try to make a shoot and see what happens. It starts winding. So I think, like in disposable cameras, we need to spin this wheel, and this will cock the shutter. So it just keep winding until the shutter will be cocked and ready for the next shot. Yeah. Okay. So the mechanism is pretty simple and maybe kind of stupid, because there are no films inside. This button is not pressed, but the camera keep trying, bravely trying to make some shots. And I guess we should understand that film has some tension when the roll is over. Let's try to block this one. Oh yeah, if we will block this one, it will think that okay, the roll is over. And let's try to rewind this roll. And nothing happens. Okay, probably to do that we need to put some film inside. So what I think, and yeah, it has a built-in flash. Now it's closed and the shutter is blocked. Now it's normal mode without flash, and by switching this to the left you can activate built-in flash. It will take a lot of time to reload. I don't know if you can see this or not. The LEDs start to glow green, but for now it's really dark. Oh, now it's glowing even more. So yeah, it's glowing and we should be able to make a shoot. Let's try. Oh, for some reason, probably I not engaged the shutter. For some reason there was no flash. Okay, let's start again. Something goes wrong. It don't want. Oh, yeah, finally. So we have a red eye reduction just by shooting red LED, and human eye will close its aperture when it has some direct light. So idea is like that, but this LED is quite dim. I don't think it will work like that. And then when the flash comes, your eye will be like partially closed and there will be no red reflection. So let's try to load the film and see what happens.
And here we have photos from this Harman camera developed and scanned, and here you can see what do we have. First of all, what I want to show, what I want to point your attention at, is image sharpness. At the center of the frame, as you can see, image is more or less sharp, but at the edges of the frame it begins to be blurry. This is because really simple primitive optic on this camera, but it's a common property of all these disposable cameras, no matter reloadable or not reloadable. Simple cheap plastic optics will introduce some blur. And here we have another photos it taken in the forest that day, so it was a bright day. And as for me, image is noisy. Even here it's noisy. Even at the bright day it's kind of noisy. And here you can clearly see some grain, some noise in gray areas. I'm not sure if it is a property of the film, and just to remember, it was 400 ISO film, so it has more grain than 100, for example. But ISO, high ISO for this camera is really important, and probably you already got this idea, but I will explain a bit later. Let's go to the next slide. And as you can see, even with good scan resolution, the certain details is hard to see, hard to read at this frame, mostly because of optics blur. So near to the center we can read something, but near to the edges of the frame, almost nothing. For now, at least for now, I not really like black and white film, at least for the pictures like this, because you have almost no details. You have some details at the first plane, at the closer plane, but there far away you have almost nothing. And this is not foggy day, it was more or less clear, and with your eyes you can see what happens there. You can see the mountains there, but with this black and white film in this camera you have this picture obviously, so you have no details, almost no border between the far mountains and skies. Let's go next. And here we have a picture taken in the forest with low light conditions. What is interesting is we have we're losing details here at the tree branches, but black is still black and white is still white, and we still have some gray, but we don't have details here. It's just like straight lines. And we have really increased noise, we really increased grain, and this camera has no shutter speed control, it has no aperture control. What you can do is turn on the flash, but flash will not help you here, because here you have not one person for portrait photography. Instead you have distant objects, and you cannot light up all the objects. What you can do with different cameras is make shutter speed lower, make exposure time greater, or open the diaphragm, open the aperture, but at this camera you have no such controls. So this will happen if you will try to shoot at evening, for example, but it was not deep evening, it was just the end of the day. It was more or less normal light conditions for human eye, but for this camera it's too dark here, and it's almost the same place, almost the same time. And as you can see, because of low light conditions, you have grain. I have a grain here, even at clouds, which was for me more. It's the brightest object in the frame in this photo, but grain is still there just because low light as for me. Here we have another example. It's a foggy frame. It was foggy weather, and surprisingly, as for me, here it was darker than on previous frame, but we don't have such huge grains here. As for me, this picture looks better than previous one. No matter than here we had low light conditions and fog, and what you see in the distance, this is a fog, it's not problems with film. And here we have a bright day photo. It was a bright sunny day, and again we don't have details at the edges of the frame, and even close at the center of the frame we also don't have much details, because film, it seems to be overexposed here, so we don't have grain if we have overexposure, but we have less details, we have losing details. And here we have foggy weather again. As for me, maybe this is the best frame from our film roll. This is because we have details. Here we have sharp lines. We have grain, yes, but it not looks so bad. And actually, it's foggy there, so this is not only grain makes these trees blurred, it's a fog also. So I like this photo, I like this one particular image. And here we have also forest and also fog, and it was also not too bright conditions. And as for me, there are really low details here, so it's hard to understand what is there in this picture if you never saw this with your own eyes. And the last picture here, it was again a good sunny day, but sun is almost in the frame. It just flare, but it's a really huge flare. And even at the good light conditions, we still have grain, and probably this is because the film is a bit underexposed because of fixed shutter speed. So let's finish with looking at the photos and discuss pros and cons of this camera, and I will tell you about my summary, my opinion about this camera.
So, what do I think about this Harman EZ-35 camera? You saw the images, you saw this camera inside, and actually this is really basic plastic camera. But the problem with this, as for me, is lack of controls of aperture, or lack of controls of shutter speed. It's fixed shutter speed. It has fixed shutter speed. It has fixed aperture. So we cannot tune up our camera for environment conditions, and because of that we need to use film like was we did. I mean Ilford 400 ISO, because with 100 ISO you probably will have only good pictures at the bright sun days and nothing more. So even at cloudy weather you probably will have not properly exposed frames. So this is a major drawback of this camera. Instead of that, except of that, I think it's a good that we have cameras like this, because it have a motorized film transport. So if you want to try yourself in film photography, if you want to see how it looks like, I think it's better than nothing, because it's new. You will sure that it will work. It will most likely it will work, or if not, you can replace it. But it's not like when you buy an old camera, and for example, it can have different shutter speed than it shows. So probably there might be some problems with shutter, with film transport. I mean, with used camera, but with this one you can buy this new, and you will know that it will work. But just don't expect too much from this camera, because it has really basic optics. It has a really basic shutter. So you will get something. You will get maybe good frames, good images at the sunny days with 200 ISO film. I not tried it, but probably you should if you're interested. But if you want to have good optical quality images, if you want to get images of, for example, night city, night landscape, images taken at evening, and you want these images to be good, this is not your option. In that case, you need to find something with at least basic controls of aperture and shutter speed. So it's good that we have cameras like this. Just don't expect too much. Just consider this as a toy, as not a professional camera, not even middle class camera. It's just a plastic toy. But again, I think it's good that we have things like that, because this may make film photo a bit more popular, and I think that's good. Thank you for watching. Please let me know in the comment what camera do you use if you make film photos, and what do you like or not like in your camera. Thank you. Bye bye.